Thank you very much, OBS, for disabling my microphone once again. Yes, I was about to say. Hopefully you've been all been having a good weekend slash week. Mine's been fairly uneventful. I mean, I say uneventful. I got myself a new work mouse. You know, sort of the zenith of eventful things going on in people's lives. Very nice. Okie doke. Yeah, I think I was gonna say there was one particular Pokemon that I was hoping to replace Numel with, but I wasn't sure as to what level Numel evolves in this, because I know that a lot of the levels for evolutions have been swapped around a little bit. It feels at the very least that the cycling road is less populated. Rediscovered cup raw and learning how to make it taste like... okay. I mean, I tend to usually take a Nissan cup noodles into work most of the time. I haven't really put much consideration into ways in order to improve it. I just figured just a simple, quick thing in a pot that I could just easily take to work. Boil the water, put it in the packet. Oh, it's blaringly obvious. It says right there on your bike. Oh, it's this guy. Righto, 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 the names everywhere. I think this guy is broken. You should write it out all over the place. It's good advertising. Ah, yes. Payment for exposure. Use less water than the instructions of the cheese one. Ah, interesting. Flies are like rocks. Honestly, I can't really wait for things to warm up around here so I can have an excuse to get back on my bike when it's not all cold and wet outside. So I feel that's sort of one of the things that kind of sucks about the mainly the winter, sort of the autumnal phase as well, just how cold it gets over here. You did get it for free? Yeah, I suppose that is fair. As opposed to just having to do a whole bunch of swap quests in order to get myself a voucher for it. Oh no. Let's send Vigoroth out here, so let's see what Vigoroth can do against this, because I kind of feel I haven't been using Vigoroth all that often. Yeah, let's see how good his strength is. That's about what I expect from a Vigoroth. You can sort of tell I was supposed to come here a little bit earlier, given all the levels. Still, that's fine with me. Experience is experience. Worried about muscle cramps? We all are. That's why you do stretches. Guess you're not used to bike race. I'm not racing, I'm just trying to fight you. Or the restriction of they decide the decals to take and drive it around. Well, they better be decent decals at the very least. Just imagine riding around just this nice looking car just covered in all just sort of pink lettering. Which, it's which they're on, I suppose. Again, apologies if I'm not exactly the most wordy this this particular stream. It's been another one of those particular Friday/Saturdays for me where I'm just sending emails out at 2 in the morning and then just spending most of Saturday just to sleep. Yes, you're... No, I'm not on Twitch. Mostly just going on particular diatribes. Are there really that few bikers on here? Oh, okay. Striking about those who ride ready for the number of collisions of total times. Aquabikes do not qualify this rating as the reason to turn, so it's not fair. I mean, I suppose. I'd hate to be trying to do the mock bike course with all this input lag, though, I'll tell you what. Yeah, it seems a lot less populated compared to what I'm used to. Anyways. There's one particular thing that I also forgot about after we fight Watson. If we go into the Poke now, right here. Also notice that there tends to be a lot less, rematches here from what I've noticed. Not a single person wants to fight me again. All except for one. As you probably noticed. Roxanne. Hey, Dennis. My gym is ready. Please visit Rustboro whenever you get... Yep. There are actual gym rematches you can do throughout the main story. Which, given the levels of my Pokemon, I'm gonna do it anyway because we could probably use the experience. Also helps that we have quick access to Rustboro Tunnel as we speak. So let's head on through there. Things should be a lot quicker now that I have the bike. Am I? A little bit tired. Went to bed at 2 in the morning. That being said, I have had a fair bit of caffeine, so I should be alright for the stream. Just... I may get a little quiet at times. As is my wont. So yeah, we have repeat balls we can buy in Rustboro. Though, given we're going to be mostly going after new and fancy schmancy Pokemon, I'm not entirely certain we'll need them that much. But we may as well just see what else we can get in the Pokemart. Let's have a look. Oh, we get timer balls as well. Well, let's have a look at what we can sell. Admittedly, I did use a fair bit of my money to try and get myself some more coins for the game corner. Let's see how many I actually have, because admittedly I may have taken a small break from the gambling. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, not a decent amount still. Send countered cappuccinos. It would be fairly interesting if they actually did those. Just, you know, carrot cake cappuccinos. That would be a fairly interesting combo, though. I reckon it would mostly just be done with chemicals. As is the Starbucks way. Can I actually fight you guys again? Okay, it's just gonna be a straight up fight against Roxanne. Much money. Not much money enough. I need 3,000. I'm gonna send a Zoomerall out first. You know, with Rock Smash and being a water type, I reckon... And considering we're going up against rock types, let's send in Matang as well. Give her a little bit of a surprise. Rich in 2 forms. I'll take that as a compliment. Who knows, maybe Grovyle will actually get some action this time around. Hello, Roxanne. I'm so glad to see you again. I'm Roxanne, the gym leader here. I'm sure we both experienced many battles since we last met. I would like to see how much better we've become. Let us battle. I can't remember if this is still singles or not. Oh, we're doing doubles. Oh, okay. Because I remember them saying that in the dev notes that they wanted to add more double battles to the game, and I guess this is their way of doing it. This time, though, I have something that can actually counter Lily. Oh, so let's hope for the speed Brock on the, Metang! Come on, you're supposed to be the super strong one here. Yeah, I'm thinking we just... Let's stall him with Rock Smash, actually. Surfing Smash? We're not far enough in the game for Surf yet. We've only just beat Watson. It's like at this point in the game, Rock Smash is actually kind of good to have. Oh, she has a Corsola at the very least, so... I'm kinda tempted to swap out to Grovyle just to deal with that real quick. Yeah, let's do that. It also helps that Grovyle has Razor Leaf. Alright, let's see if we can actually take down Lilith this turn. Counting on you, Metang. Yes! Missed the other streams. It's fine, it's fine. It's, happy at the very least you managed to catch this one. Please don't... Oh, so when you do it, you get the speed drop proc, but when I use Bubble Bean, I don't. It really does feel like the law of the Pokemon. I'd say let's use Metal Claw, weaken the Corsola. Yeah, despite the speed drop, Grovyle is still the fastest here. And here comes the Nose Pass, obviously. Just put my name on one Pokemon. Yeah, I already did. AI cheats the odds. Yeah, I have a fair few horror stories, and I've heard a fair few horror stories with regards to the various battle facilities, especially the Maison for some reason. Just, I guess it's just because Gen 6 didn't really have a post-game, but it really just feels like people are just a lot more vocal about the Battle Maison, especially just with how much cheating goes on there, with this constant spamming of one-hit KO moves and accuracy drops and all this different shenanigans, and I kind of forgot how tanky Nose Pass. You know what, let's try a Growth, actually. If you can raise your stats, then so can I. Really feels like they're really starting to really go hard in the paint with the speed control here. Metang, can you please do something? Oh no. Oh no. Metang, can you tank? Yeah, you can hold that. Azumarill. Honestly, I probably should have gone with Curlier, actually, just so I could Shockwave the Corsola. The tank's definitely tanking a fair bit, though. Have a Rock Smash. Oh, Spark as well. This thing just has everything to possibly count. Yeah, Roxanne is not messing around this time. This game was a game that made me hate all the battle content Tower Train. Yeah, I can definitely see that, given how emphasized the Battle Frontier was. Okay, finally Nose Pass is gone. I'm gonna try a Charm, actually. And, yeah, I think Metal Claw is still my best bet, despite the... Actually, Metal Claw would be the best bet. Considering she's mostly just been spamming Amnesia. Oh, come on! By the way, what's my favorite generation? I know that there's a lot of contention behind it, but I probably would say it's Gen 3. With regards to, it sort of feels that there's just enough Pokemon here to be substantial, if that makes sense. I know a lot of people sort of say Gen 4, Gen 5, and I do like those as well, but I guess just because this was my first one and I have a lot of fond memories of it. Why did I do that? Just because I have a lot of fond memories of Fire Red, Leaf Green, Emerald, Ruby Sapphire, Colosseum and XD. Oh, I could just use Yawn on you. Okay. Let's see how you're like being statused. So they really just went all in with the speed control this time around. Yeah, feint attack. Oh, and we have this to deal with as well. From what I can gather, they did reduce the PP of recovery moves at the very least, so I at least have that to count on. Come on, Matang. It's kind of weird, I haven't gotten, like, a single attack. There's the attack boost. I was wondering where you... I was wondering where you got off to, but... yeah. That's the Roxanne rematch. Surprisingly more tense than I was anticipating. I thought this was going to be a bit of a wash given how much of my team is effective against Rock, but I guess, it wasn't quite the case. So much to learn when it comes to battling Pokemon. That always makes me love them. Yes, yes, yes. Anyways. With that out of the way... I reckon... we can carry on with the plot now. First I gotta... go heal my team because I forgot... I'm so used to more recent games where it's just like every single sort of minor milestone you come across, like every gym battle or rival battle, you just constantly get healed afterwards, whereas here, it's like, did you remember to heal? No? That sounds like a you problem, gamer. Okie doke. Yeah, Zoomerill's still up front. Yeah, let's just keep Matang up front as well, just because. Could do with the experience. I think I've gotten most of not everything on this route. I got Skiddy at the very least off stream. So I think nothing's really stopping us from just going through. We need to go to the gym. Yeah, that sort of reminds me, actually, of a particular Pokemon which we might be coming up across in Fiery Path. I am sort of tempted to put a Machamp on the team, it's just I'm not entirely certain as to where. Where is Lavender? I will admit that I'm not the most 100% familiar with that name. As to whether or not you meant Lava Ridge or something along those lines. Let's have a look at the map. So yeah, mostly just gonna be going to Folibor. Yeah, I think most of the students is gonna be us heading north. Obviously cleared out all the trainers here. And now we can get past these rocks. Fair enough, fair enough. I want to talk to you, sir. It'd be tough to keep winning up from the ranks. Far stronger than it. Yes, 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 yes. Here's these two, everybody's favorites. Oh, so spotted a tough-looking trainer here of all places. Okay, roll count. Let's get this interview. Oh boy, I sure love getting harassed by the media. Getting everything I say taken out of context. Leading Azumarill was a mistake. I'm constantly being reminded. Mel, get out here. Get out here, I need you to take care of this Magnemite. Good to see you, Vance. We're just about to fight Gabby and Ty. I gotcha. Yeah, let's just do Flame Wheel. Flame Wheel. How humiliating it must be to be taken down by Cut. I mean, I say that Cut is, at the very least better in this, considering Lips typing. It's like I actually have a reason to run it. My eyes didn't lie. I did discover an astonishing trainer. Who are you? We knew you were onto something wild when we spotted you. Oh, please let me explain. We travel around everywhere interviewing all sorts of trainers. Would you like to give us your time for an interview? Yeah, sure. Okay, I need you to describe your feelings about it, but it has to be short and sweet. Go. Feelings. Alright. Bad, boring, cares, danger, defeated, disappoints, disaster, dislike, done, downcast, eat. That eat is apparently a feeling. Enjoys, excite, funny, giddy, incredible, lonesome, misheard. Think of the Switch 2? Ah, yes, the Switch 2 was unveiled recently, wasn't it? It feels like that was absolutely ages ago. Honestly, I'm sort of at the point where I'm thinking of just going the same route I did with the Switch 1 and just sort of waiting like 6 months to get it. Because I know that the Switch had a fair few issues at launch from what I recall. So I got mine like 6 months later on with Breath of the Wild. So I think I may just do the same, because honestly I'm kind of content with what I got. And while the Switch 2, obviously you get to play all your Switch games on it as well. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not exactly in any hurry to get one. If the filmmakers make a great TV show, there's a chance they'll air this on TV, so make sure to look for us. Alright. To each his own. You look like free experience. Come here. From what I recall, you have ground types. That's not a ground type. Constantly feels like I'm just constantly relying on Numel at this point. So it just makes it hard to figure out. There's like 2 other Pokemon I want to add to the team, and it feels as though I don't really have all that much room. Because I want to use Azumarill, I want to use Slacking, I want to use Gardevoir, I want to use Grovyle, and I want to use Matang, so I'm probably just going to have to make a bit of a hard choice as to which one I want to use. Well, I haven't actually tried sort of proper bagel bites, to be perfectly honest. I've tried... We did recently get these sort of special maple bagels, from what I recall. They're just like bagels with what I think was supposed to be maple syrup. Could have been something else. Anyways, just on these bagels, I found that I just trying to remember the name of it. I quite enjoyed just having them with, you know, topped with obviously butter, and then this cherry curd we got while we were on holiday, which we quite like, and peanut butter. I found that went together quite well. Mostly just I really like that cherry curd, and I feel the peanut butter just sort of balances all of it fairly well, at least from my experience. Disgustingly good. Then again, I suppose just sort of That would sort of be just a fancy PB&J, to be perfectly honest. Like peanut... Yeah, peanut butter's been growing on me, though I mostly just prefer it sort of in the context of how most people see it, which is a PB&J. Just generally quite feel the acidity of fruit sort of lifts it up a fair bit. I quite also like just dipping apple slices in peanut butter. I feel that's also quite nice. Well, here's the desert. I don't like sand. There, I said it. I'm strong, I won't cry if I lose. Bunny, but... Not sure where exactly got that conclusion. Yeah, I'm just gonna swap out. Not gonna risk it. This is sort of one of the awkward things about leveling, because you want to put your weakest one out first, and then just everything comes up which is strong against it. And it can... Yes, yes, finally somebody got it. It's just... Oh look, and he did cry. I'm not crying because I miss my mommy. My mommy! Why, you simply have to sing while you're out on a picnic. Do people still do this? I imagine picnics are sort of a old-timey thing for old heads like me that go out into the... which are dragged out kicking and screaming into the wilderness for a walk and then just settle down for a picnic. And constantly have to worry about the insects getting into your food. Like the flies and the ants. And just worrying about sitting up top of a plant you probably shouldn't. As I feel that has happened a couple of times in my experience of picnics. And then again, most civilized people tend to use benches, but even then I feel that a lot of picnic benches aren't very well maintained because they're just sort of... really sort of feels like they're... a lot of them are just rotting wood covered in bird dirt. They wanted to picnic, but do have a good walk through the farmlands. Yeah, that's fair enough. I think one of the more recent walks went on through farmlands. We literally just went through a farmer's field filled with cows. And if, from what I recall, I suppose they were more sort of used to people walking through them, but they did seem rather curious. These cows. More on the friendly side, let's say. I think on that particular walk as well, we did test out my dad's new drone, because he likes just going out on all these walks and figured just take a drone with him to do some photography. And, you know, I did have a little bit of fun just messing around with the controls. I'm not entirely certain as to what happened to it, though. Probably just has it locked up somewhere for their next campground adventure, or maybe it broke. I wouldn't be surprised. Grab me some bandages from my backpack. For some reason I decided to pull out the POKéMON instead of bandages, because apparently they're of the exact same shape and feel. I had to move rust from the ship of secrets today, and when I finished looked at the thing, read the label. Oh, this sounds good. How about we have a battle, you and me? I wish to be as jovial as these folks someday. Oh, finally, something Azumarill is strong against. Realize how unfit I really was to handle that. Oh. I'm guessing it was quite potent stuff you're using to derust the ship. Takedown? We'll see if we take out. Yes, I did see the Sonic Racing Crossworlds thing. I was sort of planning to talk more about it on the Unleashed stream, but since you brought it up, I may as well. Honestly, in terms of the Sonic races, it actually looks surprisingly good. Which is weird because I haven't really tended to pay much attention to the Sonic racers ever since All-Stars Racing for the Xbox 360 featuring Banjo from the Bongo Make-a-Zongo series. It's not like I particularly disliked that, I've just figured that kart races weren't exactly my thing. That being said, though, I had to conceive... a lot of the time it's just like, oh, they have this Sonic Riders plot going on in the comic, and all this memorabilia for Sonic Riders. Are we getting a new Sonic Riders game some point? And honestly, technically yes now, because they did unveil Extreme Gears. And honestly, I'm just gonna go by the Sonic fan mantra, take what you can get, and from what I can see, it does look quite interesting. The sort of main gimmick of it, of going through all these different tracks, reminds me a lot of the stage morph mechanic from Smash Ultimate. Too busy playing Sonic Frontiers. It's been ages since I played Frontiers, honestly. Hey man, is our leader still really going to awaken that thing? Sounds like it, yeah, but I heard we need a meteorite to do it. Ah yes, a meteorite. A nondescript meteorite made of unknown material. Oh, I get it now, that's why the rest of the crew went out to follow war. You got it. Until they come back, we're not allowed to let anyone pass, right? Well, thank you for detailing your plans to me, fellas. I guess I'm going to follow war now. Honestly, given a lot of the context behind Frontiers, I am not 100% certain as to whether I've been treating that game more unfairly in recent times, because I feel a lot of my general thoughts of Frontiers recently is more so, it's alright, though I'm not a big fan of the writing. Which I know is kind of sacrilege to say, but is the truth. I was sort of hoping that we would get a retranslated mod for Frontiers at some point, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case at some point. Context for not liking the writing, I think it's more just sort of the case that for a long time after Forces, I'd been promised by friends and associates of mine, it's like, oh, Ian Flynn should really take over the writing for this story. He's doing real great work on Archie. And then we get to Frontiers, it's like, oh, it's not actually as amazing as people made it out to be. That's kind of... I mean... I've been thinking about this a little bit as to how I feel about Flynn compared to especially Pontac and Graf, because I know a lot of people just see Pontac and Graf as El Diablo of the Sonic series. But given from what I've heard at the very least from various interviews and such, it sort of feels as though at the very least they were self-aware enough to realize, yeah, we're probably not the best fit for the Sonic series for like the big important stories, so though I guess in a way they were smart enough to keep their heads down and put the metaphorical fries in the bag. It's like, just, you know, just... It's obvious that we're not exactly the best storytellers of this series, so just keep our heads down, just put out what we can, and while I don't like what they put out, at the very least I can sort of respect that sort of mindset as opposed to Ian, who thinks he's creating this high art and reshaping the Sonic series into what it should be, when in all reality, I think most people would agree it was fine the way it is prior to 2010, which honestly is where I'm personally situated. Just, I'd be perfectly fine if the Sonic series just one day just stopped. I'd be fine just saying, alright, I'll just stick to everything which came out before and including Generations. And that'll just be my lot. As I feel that it just sort of... I get the sense at the very least that... I feel a lot of people have mirrored this, but it really sort of feels as though Flynn is more just sort of content to throw out references and callbacks at ad nauseum, just because that's what seems to appease the Twitter audience. But I think me and at the very least some of the old heads in this series sort of wish there was a bit more substance to it. Level 26 already, huh? I'm hoping at the very least that Azumarill will be able to really show its stuff against Flannery. Honestly, Azumarill just feels like he's built to going up against Flannery at some point with rollouts. Yeah, so just gonna hang around here for a little bit, see if what encounters we can get. Obviously, we've gotten Torkoal. I'm not certain as to whether or not Matang can deal with a Torkoal, but we'll see. The answer's probably no. Kind of confusing why he just goes for Yawn instead of just going full all out with a fire attack. I'm guessing it only has fire spin at this point. Aha! I get the sense that Vigoroth is just made for dealing with these Torkoals. Stop using Yawn! You have no power over me that way. There we go, there's Machop. I've been looking for you. Let's try a Metal Claw. I don't think a Metal Claw should put it down all the way. Yeah, that's fine. Vacations are good, what week without work and just putting streams and games. Well, I'm happy at the very least you decide to spend your free time on me. Feels kind of weird to say, but it's the truth. It's gonna be interesting actually at the end of the month, because we are going away for the week to Wales. From what I can tell, it shouldn't interrupt streams, but it's probably going to be interesting regardless, because where we're going, I've been told at the very least they have... With the lodge we're staying at, we get golf carts, so those are going to be fun to tear around in. Not entirely certain as to the full extent of what we're going to be doing there. I know there's a pool, and we're probably going to do board games, because we always do board games. And I think there's some kind of sauna there. At least from what I recall, it's... I'm definitely looking forward to going, though. I'll tell you what. Oh, you actually have Curse, okay. I will be perfectly honest, I think I already mentioned I've been going back through the audiobooks for Lord of the Rings recent. Scary Face. Nah, let's not go for Scary Face. I just finished The Two Towers, and it sort of dawned on me that, ironically enough, I think the character in Lord of the Rings I end up relating to most is actually Bilbo. I mean, I say Lord of the Rings, and Bilbo's in it for, like, a little bit of it. Just sort of more in the case of just being this... this sort of one everyman who never has any adventures and does anything unexpected. Endure? No, I think I'm fine with Vigoroth's current moveset. Because I imagine that Slacking isn't exactly the best user of reversal tactics. He's no Heracross. I think that might be everything in here. I think. Could have sworn we could find Grimers here, but I think I might be mistaken. I could probably check back at some point in any case. And you say no endure. I have a lot of memories of dealing with endure tactics in Colosseum and XD. Mostly just Heracross. Because of course it has Swarm, which boosts up its Mega Horn. Raspberries, which in other words, green strawberries. So yeah, it has Swarm, so to boost up its Mega Horn. What was that actually? Hold up. Okay, Pekka Berries. Or is it Pecha Berries? Because it is technically a peach. So yeah, Swarm to boost Mega Horn, and of course Reversal. Boost with a Sarlacc Berry, it's just... If it manages to get an Endure off, Heracross is surprisingly scary. Until, of course, you bring Tyranitar out, and it just gets like one turn of just being absolutely terrifying, and then just gets down with chip damage by Sandstorm. It is going to be interesting to see just how powerful Tyranitar is in this Romhack, because obviously it gets stabbed on both both its stab types are now physical, so it really has no reason not to constantly run Dragon Dance. Or just generally physically leading sets. Plus the whole special defense boost it gets from Sandstorm now. Because that's a thing. There we go. Obviously, I'm not entirely certain as to whether we'll encounter any Larvatars in our travels. I know they're in the game, for lack of a better word. They're in the game now, but probably won't be seeing them for a fair bit. I've had to guess they're probably in the desert, or maybe at the foot of Mount, I was gonna say Mount Chimney, I mean Meteor Falls, because I suppose that makes sense to me. I'll have to have a look at some point. Oh yeah, that also reminds me. Supposedly there was a patch update for this particular Romhack recently, which I've updated the game, and from the looks of it at the very least, it hasn't gone awry in any way, shape, or form. It seems to be doing fine for the time being. Console favorites. I mean, I obviously have fond memories of the GameCube, though. That being said, I also have fond memories of the Wii, somewhat of the 360, Xbox. I think it's mostly just sort of those three which I have fond memories of, though. I think the GameCube comes up on top purely from the fact that, like, almost 25 years later, it still works. It still works the same as it did back then. Whereas my 360 sounds like it's about to blow up, and my Wii, from what I recall, I think I already said this. My Wii ended up breaking. I sent it in for repairs, and it just never came back. So if I want to play Wii games, I'm going to have to use the Wii U, which is going to be interesting to see how that fares when teaming it with the Elgato, because obviously, from what I can tell, it just has input lag, and there's not really anything I can do about it, which is unfortunate. So mostly just seems to be because of the software, because playing it normally through the capture card directly into the TV, it's pretty seamless. So I guess there's just not much that I can do, unfortunately, meaning if I want to do something which has, requires a lot of just, I suppose, quick movements, and as opposed to basically menu navigation like this game, I may end up having to go back to Dolphin, unfortunately, which is kind of a shame, though at the same time, it would be nice to know that I can at the very least just play all my GameCube games perfectly fine in my own time. Not playing on... Nope, I'm playing this right now on a GameCube. Just have my GameCube plugged into my capture card, into my PC. Yeah, this is definitely the Game Boy Player menu. Are you just gonna keep spamming Sand Attack at me, sir? I don't appreciate that one bit. There we go. That's what I thought. Yep, the cube. I just figured that it wouldn't necessarily be right of me, given how often I just don the GameCube shirt. I figured it would just be appropriate to stream games from the GameCube, which is gonna be interesting thinking of other games that I can potentially play on it. I mean, obviously there's stuff like Mario Sunshine, which is gonna be interesting if I ever get round to it. What am I doing? I'm thinking about making my own room here with a Pokemon move. I know, I'll give you this TM, but will you use it to make your own room? Got secret power. Find a big tree that looks like it might drop some vines. Use secret power in front of the tree. Some vines should get free and drop down so you can climb the tree. First you find the tree that's up to play ball. That's too tall, that's too small. And when you step on a branch, be careful you don't hear a crunch, because if it's and butts with crannies and nooks, you're gonna fall off and break your legs. For some reason, I just have that one particular how to climb a tree video just embedded in my mind. Tonight we bond like lovers through their firstborn. Ah yes, and this old lady. Ooh, what's on the television? In search of... Alright, today I'm visiting an area on Route 111. We're trying to spot up some new up-and-coming new talent in the field. Today we turn our lens on the trainer's stent. Something about this there's something about this trainer that piqued our interest. The best way to determine how strong this trainer is, well, the fastest way is to battle, so we began our investigation. And that's how we ended up in battle with Stent. In a dominating performance, we're flattened, rolled up, and tossed aside. Stent is ruthlessly strong. I should imagine so, just given how often I've been playing through these games. What do you think of the Sonic? What do you think of the Sonic Wolf? Is that a particular character or content creator that I'm not aware of? I lost confidence in myself as a result of our encounter. We were beaten before we could launch a single attack. Oh. Stent's Pokemon normal in Matang and misheard. That's deep. Ah yes, I just picked that at random and it's deep. Like the Colosseum. Ah yes, and this old lady who constantly insists that you stay here and rest with her forever. Yep, let's rest up again. And again. You'll stay with me here forever, child. I kind of feel bad for this old woman, considering she's probably just out here on her own, probably doesn't get many visitors. You know, her kids have all run off on dangerous Pokemon adventures of their own. They don't call her back. She's just here constantly all on their lonesome. Yeah, kind of curious as to what you mean by the Sonic Wolf, because I feel that sort of, you can go many directions with that. Also, was that a Cherry Berry I see before me? Just want to have a look back at the stream real quick before I pick up a... Oh, raspberries. Perhaps the most on the nose of the particular berry names. There's only one person daring enough to give me the raspberry. I'll probably mean Werehog. Honestly, playing through Unleashed again recently, I had more sort of negative connotations of the Werehog. It's like, oh, it's just a cheap, just sort of Kratos clone. And it's unfun to play, and honestly, when it comes to the combat at the very least, I've been enjoying the Werehog a bit more, to be perfectly honest, and I'll be honest, I do kind of like it. The Werehog. I have to ask you for anything. Oh, we're getting married, are we? But we've only just met. A cool trainer with a Wingull. Fantastic. I'll be honest, I do kind of feel that I want to keep the extra thoughts on the Werehog for the Unleashed stream, but I guess there's not much to really talk about at this point, just me cleaving through more trainers. So, honestly, in terms of character, I feel most of it just dictated by the relationship with Chip, who has basically replaced Tails throughout Unleashed by the looks of it, and I think it's mostly just because of that dynamic with Chip. Just, the Werehog is a lot more likable than I recall. I will admit I was never exactly the best at elaboration, but I will try. I will try. Gotcha. Let's have a look here. Oh, finally we get Calm Mind. I'll get rid of Charm for that. And now it's like, all of a sudden, Curly has everything it needs to be absolutely terrifying once it evolves. Are there any more trainers I can fight right now, actually? Or is it just they hold off the rematches until I get something like Fly? Nope, absolutely no rematches whatsoever. Yeah, running a little low on cherry berries, to be perfectly honest. But we are about to finally enter the ash fields. After so long. Grovel hasn't actually had much chance to really do stuff at this point, so let's put Grovel out in front. He's gonna do perfectly well against the Skarmories. From what I recall, there is actually a new encounter here, which was added. Just like Pony said. Let's see if we can find it. Obviously, here's Spinder. Infamous for the fact that it's no longer available in Pokemon, but in Pokemon Home, just because they couldn't program in the fact that it has infinite designs. It's just a funny... Do you have a Pokemon favorite? Honestly, this is a question that I've really gone back and forward on for the longest time. Because I kind of... There's a lot that I do quite like. But I think if I really had to choose, I think it would either come down to Umbreon or Gardevoir. I know the Genshin fans did something hilarious. Is this something to do with the new sort of quote-unquote chubby character? Because I know there was a bit of a palaver about that, where it's like, we added this new chubby character who eats massive sandwiches as idle animation and uses her weight in her attacks, and and her design proportions are hardly any different from anyone else in the cast. I do admittedly hang out in a couple of servers which occasionally delve into Genshin talk. What choice? Yeah, yeah. Though I will admit, with regards, I am a sort of a little hesitant to just out and out name Gardevoir as my favorite because of obviously all the connotations that come with it. It's like if someone asks you in public, it's like, hey, what's your favorite Pokemon? Gardevoir. You just know how they're gonna react, don't you? And I mean, they're probably right, but at the same time, it's like, do I really want to put that out there? Do you know the song of Pokemon XD? I mean, Pokemon XD has an entire soundtrack, so I think you may need to be a bit more specific. When it comes to my favorite track in Pokemon XD, I mean, obviously the Mirror Beam theme is iconic. But I also quite like the Wild Pokemon theme as well, just with the banjos and the harmonica. It's just such a mood. The Siri XD... I'm not entirely certain I do. Took establishments from the regions and made the business as a real thing and placed it in the country region based off of Google Maps. The song of trade? I'm not entirely certain I do, unfortunately. May just me misconcepting again. Yeah, I think we should be fine. Business is a real... Okay. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Pokemon fans didn't do that as well, given how most of the regions are based off of real places, which... I'm kind of divided into whether or not that's necessarily a good idea, because... Maybe it's just me growing up with the anime, where it's a bit more abstract than just being based on all these different areas. So you could have places like Dubai in northern France, or Venice in the Osaka province. Just thinking it would be sort of interesting to see a Pokemon game where it wasn't sort of confined by a particular real-world place, because I will admit it sort of feels in more recent times that the inspirations for each region are becoming a bit more uninspired. Maybe it's just me thinking Sword and Shield, though. Don't worry, I'll hit you eventually. Oh, that's a Fury cutter, never mind. Alright, set. Grovyle, get back in the box. Get back in the suitcase. Yeah, we're just gonna swap out real quick. Normal. Normal, you can deal with a Ninjask. You know, I better take this out real quick before it starts to get even stronger. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's just, more accuracy shenanigans. Yep, that one's really seems to be just get too deep into his ninjutsu antics. And of course we get this guy with... I think it's kind of funny because you can sort of tell this was my first Pokemon game, because for some reason when I came across this particular trainer sprite, I didn't actually know he was wearing the bottom half of the Charizard. I just thought he was doing an Agumon cosplay. Yep. In case you didn't encounter it beforehand, Sneasel is now in Hoenn. with reworked stats from what I recall. You little. You're gonna regret that. I better still have my soft sand by when this is over. Because it would certainly be a thing if I just didn't have my soft stand after all this. Do cosplay? No. Unfortunately, I don't do cosplay. Just more in the realms of I'm not entirely certain as to what I'd cosplay. Or just do a cosplay of, to be perfectly honest. I suppose I could cosplay myself, though I imagine I'd probably have to put some work into that. A fair bit of work, actually. Okay, so we can't work our way around here, but we can get this, which is what I wanted in the first place. Super Repel. Is there another item here, though? Aha! Okay, yeah. So, if it wasn't clear already, we can find Sneasels here now. Because, of course, it's one of those instances where there was only like 2 different sort of evolutionary line ice types in the entire game. It's like, aside from... oh, here's Slugma. Aside from Regice, in terms of ice types in the vanilla games, all you had access to were Glalie and Walrein. And that was it, so... naturally, I suppose they just figured, oh, you know, let's just throw in a couple of ice types. What's the harm? Okay, got Slugma. For some reason I would have expected more to see it on the fiery path, but I guess not. It's kind of weird. I kind of feel as though for the longest time I sort of undervalued Slugma. Then I suppose it's mostly just because my cargo is extremely underwhelming with 2 4-timed weaknesses. And not really much you can do to sort of shore up on either one of them, like Aggron. Where it too has 2 4-times weaknesses, but has a high enough defense where it can sort of, at the very least, somewhat mitigate those weaknesses. In that, it has a high defense, super high defense, and fighting ground are physical in this game. Can I find nothing else but Slugmas? Yeah, I suppose at the very least it's experience. Uses parcels to ward off this filthy, yucky volcano ash from my dear Numble. If you don't like the volcanic ash, why are you walking in an area filled with volcanic ash? Take that, liberal. Well, it's a cute design at the very least. I do sort of dig it. I suppose it's mostly just because bare legs. No, I don't plan to exterminate any Pokemons. I'm just... just going after the ones which are in my way. Is all. That does remind me, actually, was somewhat considering doing some Undertale streams at some point. I suppose I'd have to do it this year at the very least, considering it is the 10th anniversary. Can you imagine that? 10 years of Undertale already. Do you feel old yet? I'm still sort of wondering as to when I want to do it, because obviously I have a fair bit on my plate already with either I mean, obviously after this I do plan on doing Klonoa 2. But after that, either Final Fantasy VI or Cyberpunk, depending on what people want. And after that, I'm not 100% certain. Maybe Furry? Maybe something else? Maybe then I could do Undertale? Who knows? I'm thinking at some point, given I am... I've sort of built myself over GameCube stuff, I may end up actually doing, or they're at least considering doing Wind Waker at some point. What games do you think playing this year? I will be perfectly honest, I'm just sort of, for the most part, sort of making it up as I go along, unfortunately, so maybe... I suppose it's more just sort of seeing what I/everyone else is feeling like. Unless there's some sort of anniversary coming up, in which case I'll try to play something around that time, even if I am a little late for it. So in which case I'd probably have to play Furry this year, considering it's the 20th anniversary of Furry Night of the Quinkin. Do you feel old yet? It's kind of weird, actually. I would have thought I'd be seeing more Gulpins around, to be perfectly honest, given how often I seem to see it during the vanilla run of Pokemon Emerald, but I guess they really just wanted to showcase off all the new and interesting stuff. Well, I mean, I do kind of like Gulpin, to be perfectly honest. Obviously, with the short-lived Nuzlocke I did, it did put in quite a bit of work, so obviously I kind of can't help but respect it for that. It doesn't really... I suppose it's kind of weird about Swell. I always found it kind of underwhelming, to be perfectly honest. Though most times I'd probably just fight it in Coliseum and XD and just have it be a just annoyance there, just sitting there in the battle with Stockpile. Just being this just pseudo-annoying wall with statuses. I'm especially gifted. I make glass out of volcanic ash and make items. Go collect textures with this. Alright, I shall try to remember that, because from what I recall, there's a small side quest added which involves the flutes. Ah yes, vase looks expensive. Imagine if this was Ocarina of Time and all those vases would be infinitely just shattered into 1,000 pieces. Come on, let's see if we can find Skarmory and Sneasel here. Caught Double Team. This really does seem to be the ninjas route, I've noticed. I suppose it makes sense, because they can easily hide here. There's Sneasel. It's kind of surreal to see him here, but I still find it kind of cool. Feels strange how? Not sure why I word it like that, just a little bit concerned. A wee bit concerned. Hopefully you're doing alright and nothing increasingly awful is happening. Kind of feel at a stage where anything Matang does will knock it out, so just... Well, there's Sneasel. Kind of want to hang back a little bit, see if we can find a Skarmory. Sneasel scales trees by punching its hooked claws into the bark. He sees out unguarded nests and steals eggs for food while the parents are away. In other words, Sneasel is just a straight-up villain. Ah, indigestion, I suppose. Yep. Hopefully it fades, because... I suppose it just sort of reminded me. I think I already mentioned this on stream once before, just... At one point when we went on holiday years and years back, we stayed in this funky sort of upside-down house where you had the sort of living room and kitchen on the top floor, and the bottom floor was just all the bedrooms. Oh, okay, tacos, which I suppose makes sense given their reputation. I think a similar sort of thing happened with me as well, because whilst we were staying in the funny upside-down house, we ordered kebabs. Sort of just, you know, standard doner kebabs, which you normally get just sort of as a takeaway over here, and just got awful, awful food poisoning from them. To the point where I was just... ended up just sort of sitting in the shower all through the night because I ran out of paper. It was bad. Very, very bad. Eat tacos? We don't normally, though. When it comes to Mexican food, I suppose the most often one we do is technically fajitas, and well, I say that. Mostly what we do is just sort of get sort of store-bought fajita mix, cook up some vegetables in that, and just have that with lettuce, cheese, and fish fingers. It's an odd combination, I know, but I suppose it's what we consider the healthy option. That being said, I do definitely enjoy the odd fajita, burrito, taco plates. Let's say not taco plate, nacho plate. That was the one. I'm getting all confused. Where is Skarmory? Let's say we go for 3 more minutes, see if Skarmory shows up, and then we'll just move on. I could probably just catch it in my own time. These slugmas are starting to annoy me. Chimichurri? I mean, we have occasionally had chimichangas in the past. Though again, they were mostly of the store-bought variety, so... Obviously I know that homemade, sort of fresh ones are vastly better, but... we make do with what we find convenient for us, to put it one way. Oh yeah, I could just use Yawn on you, couldn't I? And I have Slack Off as well, so you have no power over me. You do have power of... ah. Fine, I'll just... The Earth is alive and it's screaming. Can you hear the screams, Cloud? Kinda weird that you're just out here with an Aaron, but alright. We'll send in a Zoom Rail against this one. If I did had to choose my personal favorites of the typical Mexican affair, I really can't help but feel it would either just come down to burritos or fajitas, because I'm gonna be perfectly honest, at the very least from the tacos we've had in the past, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the hard shell. It's like you bite into it and then just... it shatters into 1,000 tiny little pieces and all the filling just spills out onto your plate and onto you. Which I suppose is the sort of benefit of soft shells. Which... honestly, just calling them soft shell and hard shell just sort of reminds me of eating crab. Which does sort of remind me, I think I already mentioned this during a 14 stream, I was doing the extreme version of Ramu, and we were at it for so long that I had a, I may as well just say, an Uber order coming in. At least I think it was Uber. Just a sort of local Japanese place. Some Japanese chain. Happy New Year. I heard to say it in the Fiesta stream. Thank you, Dennis. Though it's been a fair few months since Happy New Year's, but thank you regardless. But yeah, it got to the point where I was just having to play through the raid, all the while just trying to eat like my wonton soup and my soft shell crab. It was certainly an experience, and I suppose in some ways I kind of miss playing 14, but other times I get the sense that all that really awaits me now in the game is disappointment and tedium, so I figured, you know what, I've had my fun with 14. If things get better, but I don't really see them getting better in the long run, given Square Enix's current track record. No, that's fine, Dennis, you're fine. Just making the observation. I haven't actually used Rock Tomb in a while. Let's see what Rock Tomb does. Well, at the very least, I got the speed control up. Get over here, you. Magnitude, magnitude. I always seem to undervalue magnitude, to be perfectly honest, because it's more so the case where its damage is random, so that sort of dissuades me from like, oh, I probably shouldn't use this, but I feel at the very least it seems to do enough damage for what it's worth. Oh my god, I found a Famfy! It's amazing! Yeah, I kind of forgot you could just find Famfys here. Hopefully this one doesn't have Roar as well, or just randomly decides to flee, because I will be perfectly honest, I haven't actually used Donphan all that much. It always feels like I just constantly stick to the familiar crowd, as opposed to just branching out with, you know, Machops, Donphans. Instead, it's just the sort of typical crew you'd expect. But yeah, we've got a Famfy! I'm not entirely certain as to whether anyone actually remembers that video, but it was certainly funny back in the day. Heading to the totally real ramen restaurant. Well, hopefully you have a good time there. Why do you all have hypnosis? I don't have a Poké-Flute to use in this situation. Totally not a Genshin location that was for some reason... Oh, okay. There we go. Alright, let's just move on to Follow now. We've lingered long enough here. I'll come to you in a minute. For now, I need to heal up. Who's this in front of my PC? Who are you supposed to be? It's not to think I have to queue in order to use this PC, which is open to the public. Oh, hello, and you are? Okay, your name is Stent. I can see that you're a trainer. That means you use the Pokemon storage system I developed. How I arrived at that conclusion is a simple deductive process, my dear Watson. You spoke to me because you wanted to access something on this PC. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Lynette. Honestly, I'm glad to meet you. It's great you using the storage system. If you could, please visit me at home. My house is on Route 114. Yes, especially that. What? Yeah. It's been a long time since I watched any of Chugga's stuff. I heard that some stuff happened with hopefully he's been doing alright. The fossil maniac. We plant seedlings of hardly trees that thrive even on volcanic ash. I suppose they have to work crops eventually. Also, are these actually crops? I've just noticed. I'm assuming they are. Considering you just have this sort of patches of tilled earth, I can only sort of assume they're for crops. Which, it's kind of weird, you never actually see much in terms of actual infrastructure in Pokemon games, I've noticed. It's like, towns are completely comprised of just three or four, or if we're lucky, like 12 buildings, which usually don't have anything in them. I'm going to... Let's bring let's bring in Mel. Other not some other totally not legal plants. I mean, we don't usually tend to hear much about those particular plants in the game, so... Considering this is more sort of a kids affair, I could only assume they're perfectly legal foodstuffs or just random plants. Just random plants, which they decide to look nice here. It's weird, actually. Just Skarmory using Swift just feels so distinctly Gen 2. I guess it's just Swift in general just feels very much like a Gen 2 move to me. Not sure why. I mean, I know it is in Gen 2, but I can't remember if it's also in Gen 1. I think it is, though. From what I recall, you don't really see it that much in Red, Blue, Yellow. I just realized I don't have cuts on Vigoroth. No matter. So that's why those herds they sell in average heal you. Ah, so that's what you're getting at. Earthquake? You tricksy little... Using Earthquake and Levitate stats at this point of the game, you are cruel. Still can't remember when I evolved into Cat. Oh, that's something I can use Rock Tomb on. And yeah, just Fate Attack. Question one thing about Pokemon. Only one? I feel that you can sort of question a lot, like why there's so many different convoluted methods, ways in which you just die. Either become a ghost, or go to the some non-distinct afterlife, or a spirit world. How strong is that infrastructure? I mean, they have basically free healthcare for all the Pokemon, so I can only assume the infrastructure is surprisingly strong. Can survive multiple earthquakes in a row. Yeah, I suppose it's also fair. That's Pokemon I recognize. Okie doke. Well, here we are in Folibor. Let's have a little look around. I already challenged Furry, the gym leader of Large Gym. That girl's grandfather was famous, was one of the Elite Four of the Pokemon League at one point. I do find it kind of disappointing we never actually do get to fight Flannery's grandfather. Like, a former Elite Four member. Wouldn't that be super fun to have as a super boss? Just a sort of super powerful fire-type trainer. Yep. Of course we have department scores with cats on the counter. Okay, so Great Balls, Super Potions, Ether. You can actually buy Ethers now, wow. How are we doing for Great Balls? Well, I'll get a couple more. That should be plenty. Super potions. As much as I hate to do it, we are running short on Sodigogs, and there aren't any Sodigogs around here. So Genesis, because how did those houses just topple over? Ah, this is where you move metronome, okay. My marvelous metronome never lets me down, never lets me down. Oh, that's right, I have nougat as well. Here, I have this nougat for you. Which I'm fairly certain is supposedly supposed to be some sort of euphemism in Japanese. Golden balls. At least from what I've heard. Pretty sure there's also something in that crater over there. Professor Cosmo went off to Meteor Falls on Route 114 with some people from Team Magma. Cosmo? Why did they not put on the upright one after that was done? They probably forgot, I suppose. Another nugget! I'll happily take it. I do remember something being in that meteor. Not meteor, crater. I mean, it was probably made by meteors. Well, so that's all for Folabor. I kind of feel at some points, if I have time, I should probably come back and see all these battle facilities. Maybe I'll do that instead of fighting Norman. Cosmo and one. Yeah, I know those names are from fairly odd parents, I recall. I was more so thinking of the Cedrian. Because of course I was. Do I want to switch into Curlia because it has bite? Or I have takedown? If I can get takedown off. How many flinches? Oh, finally. Let's try one more. How many flinches was that? Absolutely redonkulous. But of course, when I do it, I don't get a single flinch. Haha, I'm faster than you. Tackle. And I suppose it is fair. This is technically a fresh Gyarados. Newly evolved. How many nuggets do you have? I mean, I had one, and then I found another, so that makes two. My big brother's a fossil man, like, there's a last guy who loves fossils. The loves digging holes too. He dug his hole by himself. We can have this so we can dig holes just like my big brother. Ah, we finally get Tombstoney. That's gonna be important later. The surprise tool, if you will. I'm the fossil man. You want a fossil? The fossils around these parts all belong to me. None for you. If you can't bear to go without a fossil, look out in the desert where there are boulders and sand and they hide fossils. Return them to Oko. That name, unfortunately, isn't familiar to me. Alright, let's go back and heal up. I mean, we may as well since we're so close. Okie doke. For some reason I do seem to have a lot of fond memories of Route 114 for some reason. I guess just because of how distinct it looks. My Pokemon does this roar. No one dares to come near me. If you would, please take this TM away. A roar. Yep, we finally get roar. Bow, bow, bow. Aha. I remember there being an item around here. A huge one. Alright, let's... Alright then, just... Bring out... Whip out your big one. Let me see it. I suppose it's, honestly, that looks kind of average to me, to be perfectly honest. Breloom, oh boy. I'm gonna try Confusion, actually. And then just, completely overpower poor Barboach. Never stood a chance, poor fella. I will admit I kind of forgot the level limit where it's supposed to be fighting for. I'm hoping it's not super extreme, because obviously I do recall Flannery historically being quite tough. And I am fairly confident in Azumarill at the very least, just probably should have a fallback plan. Did mine decrease in size? So you may experience unexpected shrinkage. You and Sandwich. Alright, I suppose it's only fair that if you're better at me than fishing, then I'm better at you at fighting. Really are going all in with their Barboaches, huh? Oh. That also kind of reminds me, I don't exactly remember where we get the good rod. I imagine that it's, we're not too long to getting it, just maybe a little bit. Also, I'm guessing that this is just to indicate that here you can find Barboaches. Just sort of discount Swampert. Or why not just to say Badabooey. Well, it's engagement at the very least. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna swap out, because it doesn't really indicate how many Pokemon this enemy has, so... Rolling Grovyle. Let's do it. It's you, face. Will admit that I'm not entirely certain as to what you mean by that either, unfortunately. Sorry, Denwaz. I will admit we've been cleaving through this part of the region a lot faster than I was anticipating. But I thought we'd still have, like, a fair bit to go, but I guess not. Well, here we are. Let's send Vigor off to the back of the party for a little bit. Obviously, you're a trainer. Exercising after every meal. When most times when I have a meal, I just want to go to sleep. Then again, I feel that's just part of the course of me, just wanting to sleep. I think we might be able to level up from this fight. Oh wait, I have cut. I don't need to completely wear myself down on you because I can just use a bug type move. Thank you, Clear Body. There we go. Oh no! Oh no! It just sort of reminds me, just... I've only ever seen, like, a couple clips of Mr. Bell. I know this is sort of an unrelated tangent, but it just sort of reignited that sort of core memory. Exercising or exorcising? The former. Oh, you can actually go around here. Oh. Let's have a look at these plants. Persimberries. Which are absolutely useless to me. Heals confusion in battle. Oh, you can... I was gonna say, I suppose they're not entirely useless, because of course, I was under the impression that you'd only use them as consumables in battle, which of course I can't do. It's gonna be interesting to see what kind of strategy Broly brings up in his rematch, because obviously we've had a Roxanne rematch, so naturally a Broly rematch shouldn't be out of the cards. Hello. Oh, Stan. I'm sorry everything was so cluttered. When I get so engrossed in my research, things end up this way. This is embarrassing. Please keep this a secret in exchange for this. Well, I mean, I'll happily accept this plushie. Organizing your boxes. Who does that? Raspberry. Yeah, I think they also overhauled the Berry Crush, so it's easier to get sort of the best Pokeblocks possible, because from what I recall, there was just this massive rabbit hole video going into how it's kind of impossible to get all perfect Sheen slash contest stats on one Pokemon. Oh, we're actually finding Gravelers now. Interesting. Interesting, though. Don't think that's gonna stop me. Level 25, though. Sort of getting the sense that they're getting a wee bit underleveled again. I mean, that being said, we could still cleave through Gravelers without issue. I'm going to swap out. Curlia, you could probably deal with the Rosalia. How's the Curlia training going? Level 26. Level 26. We're making good progress. It has Calm Mind now. So we're pretty much all set for when it evolves. You know, until eventually we head to New Morville and get Thunderbolt. That's gonna be nice. Okie doke. Oh yeah, you can also get Swablues here as well, I forgot. Yeah, I do kind of miss roasting marshmallows as well. I don't think I could necessarily get it quite right, though. Because obviously you do want a bit of a char, but... yeah, mostly just remember us sitting outside by our fire pit and just having this one ember just fall into my crotch and burn through my trousers. That was fun. I mean, obviously there weren't any burns, but there was a big hole in my trousers afterwards, which was a shame, an annoyance. I had to do some DMV stuff super early. Ah, okay. Oh yeah, we also have Lombres here, just in case you missed one. I think we can just weaken it with Rock Smash. A little too weakened there, Azumarill. Shall we try that again? Yeah, that's a little bit more like it. It's kind of funny just how much Azumarill has been able to support... excuse me. Surprisingly keep up. Because from what I recall, it also got a buff to its special attack as well, so... generally, for the most part, Azumarill's just been quite a potent mixed attacker, in all honesty. Obviously, I'm probably gonna have to do a fair bit of shenanigans swapping around HMs once we get to the latter half of the game. Bumping out of rivers and startling people. Ah, yet another prick. Alright, let's fight you and your weird Agumon cosplay. Kind of feel compelled to just hang around here for a little bit, see if we can find a Swablu or anything else interesting, because obviously since you can get every single Pokemon, that means that you can also get both Zangoose and Seviper. Even here I'm getting inundated with Stunspore. I know they made it a little bit more accurate, but it really does seem quite prevalent from what I've noticed. And I think I'm running particularly low on Sheddy Betties. Yep, that's my last one. Let's bring Curlier out to the front a little bit. It's been a while. I just... one experience points away. Okay, Numel.
You want to battle against my Pokemon? You want to see my car?
Well, that is certainly a unique one. Yes, Seviper. I will admit, my only real sort of core memory of Seviper is, back in Gen 4, I needed to catch one in order to teach Hydreigon Dark Pulse, because for some reason, back in Black and White 1, you couldn't just teach Dark Pulse to Hydreigon via HM/TM. You had to go for this whole convoluted thing where you had to breed it onto a Seviper, and then onto a Dino. I think it was more sort of the case that Dark Pulse wasn't a TM in Black and White 1, from what I recall. Just remember you had to go for this real sort of rigmarole workaround in order to actually get Dark Pulse on Hydreigon. I say that Gen 4, mostly just transferring from Gen 4 up to Gen 5. I just realized it's Steve! We finally found him! It's funny Steve. Steve in Minecraft. Steve Herobrine Minecraft. Funny moments in Minecraft. Steve Minecraft. You know, let's put Grovyle on front. I feel as though I haven't really been using Grovyle all that much. And again, aside from just sitting there and tossing out Razor Leafs, it doesn't really have much to bring to the table compared to the rest of the party, it seems. It's kind of a shame. Ooh, Carbos. Let's put that on Curlier, actually. Totally stuns you with that Digimon comparison. Yeah, I at the very least remember Agumon from this one random Digimon game I played, because I think I already told the story before. I think I technically got into Pokemon by accident, because back in the day, before I got Ruby and Sapphire and things were back when the seas were younger, I ended up watching whilst we're on vacation a fair bit of Digimon Tamers. More specifically, this one arc filled with the weird Biomerge Digivolution, which everyone looked back on and like, ooh, that's kind of odd. I mean, I didn't think much of it at the time, just what... I suppose that's sort of a cool thing, even though... Yeah, Renamon, yep. Just got hit with all the, Oh, there's Seviper. So, yeah, just got hit with all the sort of, attractive, popular internet favorites. You know, Gardevoir, Renamon, Maid Marian from the Robin Hood movie, Crystal, obviously. Just get the sense that I never really stood a chance, in all honesty. Grovyle! I wanted to catch that. Challenge me to what? Should I be concerned? I'm a little concerned. Alright, Alright, let's bring Curly out to the forefront now. That everyone's sort of level pegging. I'll probably have to come back to that later. Alright, Azumarill. A Protean. I'm gonna put that on Azumarill, because obviously with huge power comes world-ending rollouts. Pokemon battle. Oh. Yeah, I accidentally knocked out Survivor with a crit. Which I suppose is fair considering Grovyle is built around crits. It's just a little annoying. If you're lighting a campfire, make sure you have water handy. Alright, by that logic, you must have a water type. I remember... Could have sworn that you had a Wingull. Or a Pelipper. One of the two. Oh, you're gonna sit there and spam Amnesia at me. Alright. We'll do, Amnesia at home. Because, of course... Amnesia once upon a time was basically just Supercar Mind. It doesn't matter if you boost up to +6, I can still one-tap you. Doesn't matter how much you boost up, I can still one-tap you. And I can't miss. I'm hoping I'm gonna get a fair bit of mileage of the Shockwave now. Yep, there's Wingull. You poor sweet summer child. You just wandered into the best electric type in the entire game. But Stent, Curly is a psychic type, yes. It is still the best. OG was a fish Digimon girl from the second season. Ranamon. Yeah, that name does sound familiar to me. I do remember vaguely fish Digimon. I suppose, OG just talking about childhood crushes. I'll be perfectly honest, I can't exactly remember. As I feel though, just a fair few. I already went over a few of them. Or maybe I'm just thinking maybe my bunny mind didn't work that way back then. The Pikachu woman of Digimon. Well, that's one way of putting it. Actually reminds me, I did actually find a video out on the interwebs of the one 70s show that funny squawking noise I constantly do came from. I'm not entirely certain whether or not I should show it on stream sometime, but it is fun to see just a little proof of it existing still holds on that Donald Duck is at you. The fire guy having a water type is like you having a girl card of horn instead of a boy. Ah, so you noticed. I mean, it didn't actually intend it to turn out that way, just sort of did. Matang, you could probably do with experience. I mean, it's not exactly Donald Duck, but at the very least, it does sort of fit for when I was trying to do a Donald Duck voice back when I did Kingdom Hearts. I feel it's sort of one of... I can't help but feeling that I keep sort of losing all the voices I do. Like whether it's the Sonic voice, or the Donald Duck voice, or doing Golem, because obviously I did Golem back in Final Fantasy VII. I suppose it's going to be interesting when I eventually do the remake trilogy. I kind of want to wait until the, at the very least, the third game is announced. I'm not exactly expecting much from them. Oh, it's this guy. I don't think I'm exactly the best at yodeling, unfortunately, which is a shame, because it is, at the very least, fun to listen to. If not a little bit grating after a while. You know, it's the sort of stuff that makes you want to get up and dance. I can't exactly, deny that. Oh, poor Machop. Yep, all level pegging once again. When I was a wee tyke, I believe there was someone copying me and shouting back, Yodelay. How are we doing in terms of provisions? I assume not well. Let's see, super potion for you. Super potion for you. I don't have any more revives, so unfortunately Grovel's gonna have to sit this one out, and, oh, we have a full heal. Hope your dreams come true. Indeed. Whatever they may be. I'll put Grovel up front for a little bit, and I kinda want to do some more leveling for Azumarill, so Azumarill's going up front now. And we go to Meteor Falls. Now, the interesting thing about Meteor Falls in this Romhack, there has been a slight rework to an encounter here. Which should be interesting if we come across it. We'll spend a little bit of time here, but it's not the end of the world if we don't come across it. It is quite a special one. It's one that I may have been making mention of a little bit on the way here. At the very least, it's probably going to be an easier catch than Beldum. As it has a higher encounter rate and a higher catch rate. Yeah, let's put normal out again. As you could probably do well against Flannery. From one-on-one instant call-up. Well, stranger things have happened from my understanding. I kind of feel bad about Solrock, to be perfectly honest. Just, yeah, here he is with this super interesting design, and yet in battle he's, for the most part, kind of underwhelming. Along with Lunatone, no. Well, I'll take the burn at the very least, just to sort of chip down, and, Metank, you can tank some rock moves. Honestly, this sort of makes me wonder what, the game would be like if abilities like Unaware were in the game. From what I recall, there haven't been any new abilities added, just one or two that have been reworked. One particular one, from my understanding. Alright, come on now. Get in the ball. 100 in training, but you didn't hear it from me. What kind of trading? Oh hey, Solrock has Will-O-Wisp now. It's like you can actually do some good utility stuff, just throwing around burns. Like their topic bars. I suppose I'll just have to catch one off screen. At the very least, burn doesn't damage you whilst you're out in the overworld. Oh! So this is where Morwal went. I will admit I wasn't 100% sure as to exactly where Morwal was placed in this, and well, here it is. Good old Morwal. I can't help but feel that most of my appreciation for Morwell mostly just comes from its Mega Evolution, because obviously Mega Morwell was super potent back in the day with... I think it also had huge power. You know, teams with coming out with Intimidate, it was just this super threatening, menacing threat with an amazing typing. Yeah, it definitely feels bad for Solrock and Lunatone by extension. Alright, Morwell, get in the ball, Morwell. Don't make this more difficult than it has to be. It's gonna be super interesting once we eventually get to the legendaries. Just sitting here, just throwing out as many great balls as I can. The thing that I was planning on doing, possibly the battle facilities this stream, just checking out the battle tents and Follower and Slateboard, but I guess not. But we got Marlow at the very least. Steel horns that actually transform. Fools falls into complacent with his oral gesture and chums them down with its huge jaws. I imagine this Pokemon is particularly popular with a certain crowd. Okie doke. Still have that full restore, huh? Yeah, we're getting beat up surprisingly a fair bit in here, so... in with the full restore, I guess. Underrated, I suppose, but at the same time, again, Mega Evolution. I want to see some of the more interesting encounters in here, so we'll probably just do this first. Hehehe, with this meteorite, that friggin' Mount Chimney will. I don't know who you are, but if you get in the way of Team Magma, don't expect any mercy. Hold it right there, Team Magma. You'd be badly mistaken if you think you can have your way with the world. Even Team Aqua joins us, but it's too much trouble to deal with you all. It doesn't matter. We got the meteorite, so up to Mount Chimney we go. Beats seeing you Team Aqua dingbats. The fact it's a male mower. Oh, of course. Didn't I see you before at Slateport's museum? Ah, so your name may stint. At the time, I thought you were one of Team Magma's goons. Back before goon meant an entirely different thing. You be one odd kid, Team Magma. They be awfully misguided, believing they can free the ancient force that once saved us, convinced it to be bringing good again. Excuse me. But they be blind. These ancient powers, their rivalry will only bring ruin. Our savior, the protector of the droughts, must be the one to awaken. It be the only way to stop this drought and bring peace. That's why they be our enemies. We can't let them win. Arr. Boss, we should be giving chase to Team Magma. Aye, we must. There be no telling what Team Magma will be doing up at Mount Chimney. You should be keeping an eye out for Team Magma too. They be more dangerous than ye realize. Fare ye well.
I'm Cosmo. I'm a professor. Team Magma asked me to guide them to Meteor Falls, but they tricked me. Even took my meteorite away. And then a similar bunch of Team Aqua showed up. After that, I don't understand any of it. But that Team Magma, what are they going to do with the meteorite at Mount Chimney? I don't know what to do. Could you walk me back to my lab in Follower Town? Actually, this is stuff that I kind of want to do in Mount Chimney first, so I'll see you there. I guess we'll try to manage on my own. Please be careful out there. Yeah, honestly, it would probably be better if we just took the Rust Turf Tunnel first. Sunstone and Moonstone for Matic. I just want to run around here a little bit, see if we can find a particular encounter. Just like with Beldum,
I'll just go for a little bit, and if we don't find it after... We'll give it a little bit. If we don't find it, we'll just move on. For what I recall, it's like a 4% encounter rate, so... definitely rare. But not as rare as Beldam, and it doesn't have takedown. So... we'll just see how we do. I'll just hang around the exit for a little bit, and then we'll just move on after, let's give it 5 minutes. 5 minutes sound good? Should be plenty enough time to make our way through to Mount Chimney, then Jagged Pass, and down to Lava Ridge. At the very least. Because I do kind of want to dedicate a proper stream to Norman and everything that comes afterwards. Because that's sort of when the game sort of really steps into its stride once you get Surf. Yes, I do certainly enjoy just the opportunity to do the funny pirate voice. Not Will-O-Wisp, my one weakness. Ah, my badges. But I only be having 3 at this point. That's not nearly being enough to be at all impressive. Well, there's Soul Rock at the very least. Ah yes, solar powered. Meaning it would probably be quite miserable in Britain. Turning him down like that. You can hear him packing the pendulum stick. No, don't go. We care about you so much. Yeah, just gonna hang around here for a little bit, see... Oh, there's Lunatone at the very least. Gotta feel compelled to at the very least catch Lunatone. Mr. Magic Tone here. I just realized I haven't been making all that much use of Defense Curl just as a defensive buff, which is funny because Defense Curl is sort of really a big part of Azumaril's whole kit here. Giving it needs it for rollouts. Please don't knock out Azumaril. Thank you. Poor Azumaril just taking such a beating. Yes, we're just gonna have to switch to Metang again. Metang can handle it. From what I can tell, this doesn't have Will-O-Wisp, so we don't have to worry about that at the very least. What kind of... I suppose it would be Hypnosis as his status move of choice, considering night is when you sleep. Okay, there we go. It was very active on the night of the first full moon. This Pokemon was 40 years ago at the site of a meteor strike. Honestly, depending on the time, I may end up having to go back and change the thumbnail. Because I am not 100% certain as to whether we'll have time to properly have time to do Flannery, but we will try. In any case, I'm probably just gonna have to come back here at some point and just catch up on some catches. Probably just gonna have to start running at this rate, just so we can speed things along. Alright, where be you? I know you're here. This route. Maybe on the next stream, after all, you can skip steps on my routes. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Didn't begin disc. You certainly are an interesting bunch, I'll give you that much. No waterfall for the in this. Yeah, waterfall does come up because obviously this is Meteor Falls, known for its waterfall. We get waterfall at sort of near the very end of the game when we're going into the Pokemon League. We'll probably give it one more minute just to see if it shows up at all. Because I would like it for the team. I can't remember when we get the experience share, though. I'll probably have to look into that. Yeah, I think we'll, I'll save it for another time. For now, we should hurry. I think I have enough time to, beat down a Karate Kid, though. My strongest skill is busting bricks on my forehead. Urgh. Funny how many canonical alien yeah. And obviously there's LGM and BM. And I suppose Clefable, Clefairy, Deoxys. Raise the question of connecting Mew as an ancestor, unless Mew is also an alien. I think it's more so one of those things which you are sort of asked not to think about all that much, to be perfectly honest. Okay. Another Great Ball. Yes, some more... These aren't cherry berries, these are blackberries. Or blueberries. Some more trainers here to fight. I'm sure I can spare some time to fight these ones. Okie doke. Ready when you are. He's like, you want to see my Pokemon? See music? Yeah. Yeah, of course. And I suppose you'd have to be, in a sense, if you end up on my streams. As opposed to everybody else's. But here I am just struggling to think of talking points. I kind of feel as though I've sort of undervalued Zangoose, especially. Just... I can't... Can you show you a song? Can you show you a song? Not entirely certain as to what you meant by that, Dennis, sorry. I do appreciate at the very least that Spoink is a bit more common. Because, I'll be honest, outside of Jagged Pass, I just get the sense that you very rarely ever see Spoink or Grumpig. This is one Pokemon to sort of hit him away, which you don't really talk about. You're just sort of there. And then you get to, like, Coliseum and XD, and it's just like, yep, here's Spoink. Spoink is all over the place, you fight Spoinks, and you're just like, where was this in all of Ruby Sapphire? Must overthink the law for the power... Oh, not the power scaling, please. Because obviously you're just going to take into context that Machamp is so strong, it's because it can punch somebody to the moon. Like, how could 1 billion lions beat a Machamp if it just sort of, Jojo punches 1 billion lions all the way to the moon? Just... Obviously it's all sort of interesting fluff for the Pokédex, but when you really think about it, just... really doesn't really make all that much sense, because... I feel the first time I really sort of... I suppose... tended not to really put much metric into power scaling was with the death battle between Knuckles and Donkey Kong. And they said that Donkey Kong is super powerful because in a cartoony fashion, Donkey Kong once punched the moon in half, which obviously, given the in-world rules and metrics involved, I'm not entirely certain that's something to be taken wholly seriously. And yet, people do it.
You want to see my... You want to see my special Pokemon, Batman?
I really need to work on my Joker voice for when I eventually do Final Fantasy VI. Because I imagine I'm going to be doing it a fair bit. Otherwise, just breaking out the crazy hamburger. Horse memes. Welcome to Kefka's Kitchens. Today, we are making giant hamburger. I'm not sure I'd have it in me to just do that for an entire Final Fantasy VI stream. Just, I'm the Joker. It is horrible. Well, time to head up to Mount Chimney, I suppose. One Big Mac, please. This is... hate to inform you that this isn't a McDonkeys. We do not have Big Mac, we only have giant hamburger. What am I doing? Actually, I didn't actually sample some of the Pokemon on Route 112. I'm sure there's something interesting here. And interesting there is. We finally find Meditite. A little bit of a shame I don't have False Swipe, but I'm sure an Astonish will, be more than enough. Okay. Let's see what interesting stuff we can find here, actually. Let's see, Meditite, Numel, possibly Sandshrew. Got it. I'm gonna have a lot of work ahead of me should I want to keep up to date with my Pokedex. That's for certain. Have places to be. Finally, we can go up to Mount Chimney. Was that a vending machine? It's windy because this looks like it would be a vending machine. We just have the window up here, which you just consult for soldiers, and yet it just isn't, so what is it? Yep, and cable car operator just has no qualms about the fact that there's currently a massive battle going up against the Mount Chimney. I could have sworn in this cable car scene at one point I saw the silhouette of a Pokemon fly by at one point, though I'm not sure if that was just my imagination or not. Well, here we are. We're gonna be making more land, war. Oh, look at Archie's Poochyena go, just running in one spot. See for yourself what the fanatics of Team Aqua be up to. They be trying to inject the stolen meteorite's power into the volcano. Doing something like that will cause the volcano's eruption. Obviously that has to be stopped. Notice me they took a name like ours. It burns me up that baby uses such a confusing name. Douse them in fire, Poochyena, who doesn't have a fire move. It is kind of crazy that Archie's just taking them on 3-on-1. Anyways, time for more fights. We of Team Magma working hard for everybody's sake. Like, if that thing's power made more land, there'd be more places to live. What thing? Everyone would be happy. If there were more land, I'd be able to get a big house all on my own. I'm going to build it on hardened lava. Very, very selfish-driven goals, I must admit. Dawn, is that you? I know that blue hair anywhere. Think that's supposed to be an engine? I suppose. I'm gonna switch Groval out. Zoomerel, you need the experience. Get out in front. Ow. Oh, that's just great. As soon as I come out, it's just confusion. I want to say, I'm glad that I decided not to go hardcore mode. Otherwise, this would have been over very, very quickly. In prison? What are you doing to me? If you could choose a team, which did you join? I would choose Team Stent because I have historically beaten both Team Magma and Aqua multiple times, so why would I settle for less? Well, I suppose at the very least it's nice to see Team Aqua actually using fire types for a change. Even if they are just spamming Confuse Ray. This feels a lot more status heavy than I remember. It's mostly just because they were sort of complacent, just sit there spamming Growl or Leer. What do you mean I lost? My dream of a big house. Out of the way. So you've come all the way here, but you're too late. I've already delivered the meteorite from Meteor Falls to the boss. Ah yes. Here we find Tabitha. That's not a fire type. What are you doing with a Cacnea? Herder. Yeah, from what I recall, the oh, that's not good. Yeah, the Magma and Aqua admins have been given unique teams. Yeah, you should do less to me with that pin missile. Yeah, if that was a Nuzlocke, that would have been horrifying. If it was indeed a Nuzlocke or a hardcore run. Considering this is supposed to be more of a casual affair, I'm definitely glad I picked hard mode. And it's still definitely quite the exciting affair with some of these battles, but still, yikes. A Laron at this point in the game. I get the sense that they're starting to get a little bit serious. Come on, Numble, you can do it. Could have expected me to choose Aqua. I mean, my first Pokemon game was Sapphire, so I suppose technically it would be Magma. Oh, and a Zangoose, because of course it's Zangoose. Gotta make this a little bit more interesting, I suppose. Let's... You know what? Muscle against muscle. Let's see how you fare against Vigoroth. Not well, I suppose. Heh, even though I lost, if our leader awakens that thing. What thing are you talking about? Give him the meteorite's energy. For some reason I'm compelled to just give him sort of a Beavis and Butthead voice. It was ironic because I also did the same thing for Blaine, from what I recall, back when I first played Fire Red and Leaf Green, just like, hope you have a burn heal, Gonna be keeping Azumarill in reserve. Let's roll out Curlia. think my thing may be acting up a little bit, but it's fine.
The power contained within meteorite.
Actually, I have a better voice.
By amplifying its power with this machine, Mount Chimney's volcanic activity will instantly intensify. Its energy will grow deep inside the crater and... Who are you? Ah, I've heard Archie bemoaning a child interfering with his affairs. That must be you. So you're thinking of interfering with us, Team Magma? Now you listen. Long ago, the world was on the brink, nearly swept away by relentless floods. Then came an ancient force, one that quelled the raging seas and dried the great floods, allowing the land to emerge once more. A savior that provided the foundation on which life could flourish. It is our duty to free it, and let it bring balance once more to those suffering. But that fool Archie, he wants to unleash a power that will drown everything. He is blind to the chaos that will follow. Only one can protect this world, the one that brought life, the land itself. And for that, we need the power hidden within this mountain. Oh, there was no need for you to learn that much.
Yeah, I think that's actually unique dialogue for this Romhack, just sort of hammering home the supposed actual conflict between Magma and Aqua, making it a little bit more compelling. But no matter. You've meddled in something far beyond you. Now I will show you the consequences. Legilimens. Well, here we are, Maxi. I will admit I definitely prefer his harass design with the glasses. Carly was the wrong choice. I was like, oh, he's probably gonna have a fire type. What compelled me to go with that? Vigoroth. Vigoroth, do something. Level 26, though. This could be... Well, it's certainly an intimidating lead. Gen 7 has more characters I like. Gen 3 has more options, fun side. Yeah, I suppose. I do have some fond memories of Gen 7, mostly base Sun and Moon. Can't help but feel that a lot of stuff added in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon just kind of ruins Pokemon for me, to be perfectly honest. Just seeing the curtain pulled back so much is maybe a little bit more cynical to the more recent editions, and I was just left wondering, why did I get this game? The only reason I could think of is that I could get all shiny legendaries, which I did, but for what point? Nerd voice for Maxi. I mean, the intention was to try and do an Alan Rickman / Snape voice, but I guess it just came out like that. Ah yes, I read about it in Forbes. Here you are, just the battle of who can keep confusion just inflicted on the opponents. Honestly, this is going smoother than I anticipated. There's Camerops. I was wondering when you'd show up. Alright. Azumarill, it's... I kind of want to do a clean switch into Azumarill, to be perfectly honest. What level? 28? Has he been cheating? How come my Camerops hasn't evolved? My Numble hasn't evolved into Camerop yet. Would be right choice if Curly was part for... Yeah, it would be. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Alright, Bubble Beam. That's what I want to see. Alright, who's your last? What do you got in the pipes? Nuzleaf. Right. Oh, that's not good. Matang has cuts. I'm gonna go with him. Oh, growth as well. That's not good. Hurry before he does something with those nipples. I always found that kind of unsettling about Nuzleaf's design, to be perfectly honest. Just, why the nipples? Honestly, that battle went far smoother than I was anticipating. What? I, Maxie, was caught off guard. But enough. I will back off this time, but don't think that this is the last you've seen of Team Magma. Even without the meteorite, if we can obtain that orb. Stent, thank you. With your help, we thwarted Team Magma's destructive plan. But you, whose side you be on? I'm on nobody's side, because nobody's on my side. Ah, it does not matter. We will remain vigilant, keep up our pursuit of Team Magma. Stent, we shall be meeting again. So yeah, given the time, I think that might actually be a good point to end things off. A little disappointing we didn't get to Flannery, and I mean, I suppose we could, but given the time, I think it'll be best to save that for the start of next stream, and we can rapid fire that up with Norman as well. So until then, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you for tuning in and dealing with my barely consciousness, and I'll see you next time. So take care. Bye bye.